crafty friends. Hello Flosstube. It is Friday, May 29th. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back to visit me. I have my sock. I'm working on a row while we chat. I've got my coffee. And it's still piping hot, but probably won't stay that way for long. We're in the middle of a rainstorm. So it's a bit dark in here, and you might hear, can you hear the rain? It's raining pretty hard right now, and we have had some thunder, so you may hear that as well. Big gray sock for my father-in-law, still at about the same place because I think I've only put about 10 stitches into this since the last time I visited with you. I have been doing some crafting because I was quiet yesterday and I didn't record a video. I had a little bit of extra time to spend on a few projects. So you're going to be very surprised. You're not going to see my ink circles thread and eye mandala for the next little while because I decided that in order to complete Josh's quilt, that her quilt would now take the place of my half-hour morning crafting time. Just let me get past the stitch marker here. Okay, so I have a little bit more progress on the ink circles mandala, but I'll save that to share at some point next week. So let me show you the quilt top. So with 30 minutes, the last 2 mornings, I have managed to put together one more entire row. So I now have the top 2 rows are complete. Pretty good, right? So this quilt is going to be, I make the blocks first. So it's just a 4 square, just a 4 patch square. These are made of fabrics that my friend Josh from the Netherlands sent to me. They were special from her godmother. And so I'm putting together a quilt for her. So I make the 4 patch, and then I'm using this fabric as the sashing in between. And so the quilt, it will be for snuggling on the couch. It will be 5 squares wide, and it will be 6 squares long. So I have 2 strips fully complete. And if I can do my math correctly, that means I need 4 more strips. So 4 more strips, and I will have a completed quilt top. I know. I'm so thrilled with this because I finally feel like I'm unstuck. I'm unstuck, and I've got some forward motion with this, and I can see it coming together, and I'm so excited to finish it and package it carefully and send it in the mail to my dear friend. And so that's exciting, and I think it is 100% worthy of my 30 minutes of crafting time every morning. And so now I drink my coffee, and I sew a few seams, and I iron a few seams, and I think of my friend. So, here. Once I get it a little bit bigger, then I'll have Sarah maybe film me standing up holding it so that you can see the whole thing. So yeah, there's folded in half, so you can see that. Yay! So it's coming together. I'm quite pleased with that. And then when it's done, I'll get back to my ink circles mandala. When it's done. There's some thunder. Can you hear it? Not too bad. Okay, next up, and I'm gonna just reach across the table here. Excuse me, my chair is squeaky. Okay, I worked on my Glendon Place Hope and Strength stitch along. Now I have taken these things off of the Kay's Creation lap frame because I I have a crafting space up in my bedroom, and it's a bit of a quiet, tucked away space, and that's really where I felt like being yesterday afternoon. And so I decided to take the rods off of my lap frame and use my floor frame instead. And I actually took a little video of the floor frame because, and I've been asked this question before, I use my rods interchangeably in between the Kay's Creation lap frame and the Hearthside Craftworks floor frame. But as you can see, these scroll rods, these are the Kay's Creations scroll rods. And the screw on the end of these rods, is that, cover my face, is it focused? Does it matter? They're screws. Do you need to see them in focus? I don't know. They're a little bit bigger than the holes in the Hearthside Craftworks floor frame. So I'll pop in that video in a little bit and explain to you what I did, because it's quite a simple fix, and it means that I can use all of my rods across both systems of frame that I use. So I thought, since I just had it here on the floor frame, I sometimes have questions about the different frames that I use, and I just wanted to share. I use these are Hearthside, no, excuse me. It's a Hearthside Craftworks floor frame. It's a Mark II floor frame. And these are scroll rods from Kay's Creations. The screws on the Kay's Creations rods are slightly larger than the holes in the Hearthside floor frame. And you can see that there are, there are 6 holes per side. So what I had my husband do, I had John drill the middle hole slightly bigger than the 2 outer holes. And so I just used that the middle hole it fits my Kay's Creations scroll rods. And then the other holes they still work for the other ones, the Hearthside scroll rods, excuse me. The Hearthside scroll rods fit, of course, into the Kay's Creation lap frame that I use because the screws are slightly smaller. So that's how I do it. And there's my little House Needleworks piece. It's so cute. Love it. So the Hope and Strength Stitch Along, this is a Glendon Place piece. It's a free PDF download from glendonplace.net. I finished the lion. I completely finished that first lion, so that is now done. And I really like him. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to focus on the other words in the phrase that are above the Hope and Strength that's in the middle here, because they use the same silk floss as the lion. So I'm using the called for materials. Cheryl from Glendon Place actually sent them to me so that I could host this stitch along. So I am using the materials that she charted the pattern for. This is a 32 count Picture This Plus fabric in the jade colorway, and the threads are dinky dye silks, and there will be lots and lots and lots of Mill Hill beads. There's also some it's not treasure braid, but it is a metallic. I don't have it yet because she changed. When Cheryl was designing it, she sent it to me and then changed her mind on something that she was going to use in the border. It's a blue metallic, and it's beautiful. I don't have that yet, so everything that I have are the silks and the beads. But I think it's going to be a while before I get to that part in the border, anyways. So that's all good. Oh, we've just received an alert that there's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect. So everybody's tucked up safe inside, so we're all okay. So it's coming along really nicely, and I absolutely love this color of silk on this fabric. It's just perfect. It's a perfect match. That is that's Dinky Dye's Ocean I'm using my thread keeps from Gina, who is Sophia Violet Designs on Etsy, and I talked about her new shop just the other day. Ocean Pines. So that's, this is the tag, Ocean Pines. And this color, look at this color. So forgive the messy skein. Just an absolutely beautiful color. Just so, so beautiful. So yeah, I'm really pleased. It was really nice to work on that yesterday. Just I listened to some podcasts, I watched some Flosstube, and I just had a quiet afternoon, and it was really, really nice. Okay, then the next thing that I worked on, and this, you're not going to expect this. I'm sure that you're all thinking that it was Savon, and it wasn't. I decided to stick my hand in the whip pile and pull something out and work on it. And because I don't like to make rules for my stitching, I had already pre-decided that if I pulled it out and really didn't feel like working on it, then I would choose again. The first thing that came out was this Little House Needleworks piece, Warm Winter Woolens. And I said, oh yes, please. That just seemed like exactly the right project to just randomly choose, and I immediately thought, yes, that's exactly what I felt like stitching. And so I did. Now I forgot to take a before photo of where I was, so it's been quite a while since I shared this piece. So that's where I'm at now. So yesterday I finished most of this white in the sheep here. I think you can see it's a little washed out because of the terrible lighting, but I didn't have most of this white wasn't there, and his little snowflake on his sweater wasn't there. So I stitched that. I stitched most of the white, and then I stitched I added a little flower here, and then I came and I did this little green border here. And yeah, I'm stitching this on a 40 count. I'm pretty sure this is also a piece of the Patriots Brew R&R reproductions, but I'm not 100% sure. Definitely a 40 count, and it's definitely one thread over two. I can tell you that much. So that's, let me bring this up a little bit closer so there you can see what it's gonna look like. And this has to be, I have to turn this into a knitting bag for myself. So once my little sheepy is done, once this little whip is done, then I would love to turn it into a knitting bag as a fabric panel, and then use it in maybe a quilted knitting bag. That would be really nice. So there you have it. That's what I worked on yesterday. And today is Friday. So I know I have been doing Focus on a Designer on Fridays. I'm not prepared to do that today. I have an Etsy shop designer all ready to go, one that was actually sent to me and suggested by a viewer, and she said, I thought you might like to see this because I think it's your taste, and she was absolutely right. So I'm very excited to share that with you, but I'm not quite prepared to do that today. I really like to not be saying embarrassing things like, is it Classic Colorworks or Crescent Colors? I should be a little bit more prepared than that. So I think that I'm going to save that for next week so that I can do that designer proper justice. Okay, what else? So yes, it's Friday, so that means there is the Friday Off the Grid little, it's all week long really, but on Friday night is where we are sharing our progress. The idea is you sit down at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's my time zone. 6 p.m. your time, and you stitch as much or as little of the next 6 hours as you can or want to on either one project or multiple projects, and then you are welcome to share your progress on the Facebook group of the same name, Friday Off the Grid. And I used to do a weekly Stitch With Me video, and I would post that and have it come up at 6 p.m. on Friday night. And I haven't done a Stitch With Me video in a really long time, and that's partly because I started doing daily videos, but also because my eyesight is really changing and my camera setup has changed as well. I no longer record really with my iPhone. I record with a camera, and I don't have a proper tripod set up to focus on my stitching. And I really enjoyed doing the Stitch With Me videos where the camera was focused on my stitching and I could just talk. The thing is, I enjoy watching Stitch With Me videos of all kinds. I like both kinds. I like watching people stitch, but I also like just watching the people while they stitch. But I find for me, when I'm filming a Stitch With Me video, I'm a little more natural in talking about more personal conversation when I don't feel like the camera is, when I don't feel like you're looking at me in the face. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like we're having more of a private conversation where our heads are down over our stitching and you're stitching yours, and we're just talking. So just a bit of a reason why those Stitch With Me videos have sort of, for the most part, disappeared. And I really, I need a new pair of glasses that are just for stitching, because at the moment, the best and easiest way for me to see my stitching is to take my glasses off and have the stitching quite close to my face. And I already wear progressive lenses. That's not really, that's not going to fix the problem. It's more of a, and I've shown this before, but if I held my glasses about here, they are perfect for stitching. Like absolutely perfect for stitching, but I have to hold them here. Otherwise, you know, well, that's a bit ridiculous. That's never going to work. So I just take them off, hold the fabric a little closer, and it's like a magic superpower. I can see the smallest of small, tiny linen with no glasses. And it's getting better as I age, or my eyes are getting worse as I age, but I prefer to think of it as they're getting better. So anyway, I hope to one day again, you know, try my hand at a few more Stitch With Me videos, because I miss doing them. I really miss doing them. But that was sort of how the Facebook group got started. We started the group to go along with the Stitch With Me video and just have a general sort of feeling of togetherness, community on Friday nights, where we're all sort of stitching together, big chunk of time on a project, and then getting, you know, excited and enthusiasm and encouraging other people for what they're doing. So anyways, if you're a part of the group already, I'll see you there tonight. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to work on tonight. I think I might focus a little bit more on my sheep, because it's been nice to see some progress on a whip that I haven't touched in a really long time. That's been quite good. Okay, that really is it. Now Nicholas has a little bit more homework to take care of this afternoon, a few larger writing assignments that are due for Monday that we haven't, I use the term we loosely, the royal we, haven't completed yet. So we need to spend a little bit more time working on that. And I know he's got another big math assignment that he hasn't finished. Children in Ontario, our kids go to the elementary kids go to school until about the end of June. And that is, to my knowledge, still the expectation, even though our classrooms will not be reopening for kids to return to until at least September. And I'm sure in September, our schools will probably look a little different to our kids than they did when they left back in March. Those things are still unknown, and you know, we're all just doing our best, aren't we? So, all right, I am going to leave it there. I really hope you are well. I hope that you have a friend to talk to. I hope that you have some time to find a bit of joy in your crafting. And I will probably, yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that for the week. I'm going to take tomorrow and have another day, another quiet day with the family. I'm really not sure when my surgery is going to happen, and there are a few things that I'd like to get done around the house this weekend before that happens. And so I think I will use my video time tomorrow and take care of a few things around the house that I would like to have done before the surgery happens. That's it for me. Take care, everybody. Happy stitching, and I'll see you on Monday. Take care.